Welcome to Yin Yoga for Athletes, foundational level. Our focus today is on the outer hip and IT band. You can start in any comfortable seat. Find a place where you can have a neutral pelvis and a long and neutral spine. Relax the shoulders, relax the arms. Let the head balance on top of the spine like a cherry on a toothpick. Eyes can be open or closed. If they're open, allow the eyes to rest on one spot. Allow the eyes to soften. And begin by simply observing. What are you starting with, mentally and physically? Is there tension in the body or in the mind? What are the sensations of the body? What is going on in your mind? And what does the breath feel like? The breath reflects our nervous systems. We can use what we learn from the breath to inform us of how to proceed to find a more balanced state in the nervous system. Is your breath fast, jagged? Does it make you feel anxious? If so, perhaps you want to focus on the belly breath. Maybe even focusing on making the exhalation just a little bit longer than the inhalation. Does the breath feel labored, slow or lethargic, uninspired? If so, you might want to focus on the 3-part breath and maybe equalizing the inhalation with the exhalation. Whatever breath you choose, breathe in and out through the nose, increasing the nitric oxide production of the body. Allowing us to recover from our activities better, giving us a calming sensation, using the turbinates in the nose to direct the breath into the lower lobes of the lungs, giving us a more full and complete breath, leaving us feeling rejuvenated, vibrant. Continue with this breath. And when you're ready, slowly open your eyes or lift your gaze. When you're ready, we'll start with long butterfly. So you may already be familiar with butterfly, seated butterfly, or short butterfly, where the feet come together and we draw the heels in towards the hips. That targets the inner groin. Today, we're trying to target the IT band and possibly the outer hip. So we're going to push the feet away from the body a little bit. We're aiming for somewhat of a diamond shape with the legs, but you'll find just the right spot for you. The feet can come all the way together or they can just kind of rest open. Either way is fine. You might be sitting on a blanket or a stack of blankets or a bolster. You might choose to sit on nothing. We just want the pelvis to be neutral and the spine to be long to start. If this is uncomfortable for you to sit here like this, you can try having blocks or blankets underneath the knees to give your knees a little bit of support. It might feel most comfortable to you to bring your hands behind you and lean back and try to let the legs relax here. Or if you would like, you can find an upright position. Find a long spine. Reach through the heart and slowly begin to hinge at the hips, reaching the heart forward as if you were to plant the heart on top of the feet. Go to where you feel your first layer of sensation. And this might not be very far at all. Let the body slowly adjust to being here. Notice the sensations. And try to find a few moments of stillness. Tune into the breath. Continue to use the breath you started with, helping to find balance in your body. Full and complete breaths, in and out through the nose. At some point, your body may ask to go a little deeper, and you might start to round the spine if that feels okay on your back. You might even start to let the head and neck relax. It can hang in space or come to the feet, or you can place a block on the feet if that's comfortable and let your head rest on a block. You can use a bolster and let your whole torso rest on the bolster. If you need more of a ramp, you can bring a block underneath the top of the bolster and rest like this. The block can be at any height. If you have access to your feet, you can even give your feet a little massage while you're here. Maybe start with a little massage, but eventually find some stillness and let your body relax. We'll take just 5 more breaths here. Aim to find complete stillness and silence for these last 5 breaths. There's no rush. Whenever you have reached your 5th breath, you can slowly roll back up, letting your head rise last. If you would like, take a few moments to let the legs stretch out. Maybe give them a little wiggle or a little shake. Maybe roll the ankles a little bit here. You can do anything that your body wants to here. Whatever feels good to you. And you can take as long between sides as you would like. When you're ready, we'll move into square pose. We have lots of variations here. Again, you're welcome to sit on a blanket or anything that helps get you more upright so that you can be more comfortable in this pose. So we'll start by lengthening the legs out. You can flex the right foot and bend the knee. So anytime we are bending and twisting the knee, we want to be very careful and take some time to protect it, especially in the transition from straight to kind of bent and twist. So when we come into the pose and when we come out of the pose. Those are actually our two most vulnerable times. We tend to not worry as we're transitioning into a pose, and we just kind of do whatever it takes to get into position, and we roll the ankle and twist the foot and pull, and then we get there, and then we put it all in the right position. But that leaves the knee very vulnerable. So flex the foot, try to keep the ankle straight rather than sickling the ankle. And then draw the knee up to whatever point you think is going to be right for you. Option number 1, you can bring the shin to the other shin. So as you're twisting and putting your leg into place, one way to help keep the knee safe is to think about finding the external rotation from the femur, not from the knee and not from the ankle. So as you lift your leg up, the movement is coming from the thigh, externally rotating, and in whatever degree it goes to, then you just plant your shin down. The foot's flexed, the ankle is still straight, and you might find plenty of sensation here. If this is as far as you want to go, great, you can stay right there. If you need a little bit more, you can bring your shin or ankle to your left thigh. Anywhere but the knee is fine. If you find that you need a little bit more sensation, you can lean back. Now we're going to flex the other foot, keep that ankle straight as well, and then you can bend and twist that leg, rotating from the femur, and we'll stack the right shin over the left shin, coming into square. Some of you might find that your knee is quite lifted here. That's okay. If it's comfortable to just let that leg drop down and relax, then that's fine. And if not, you can bring a blanket or stack a few blankets or roll the blanket up and let the knee rest on the blanket. A bolster would do just fine as well. Anything that feels comfortable. So here again, you might choose to stay in an upright position. You might try to lean back and see what that does to your pose. It doesn't necessarily make it easier. It changes the angle. And so you might actually feel more as you lean back here. You can also try to play with hinging in this position. So again, we'll try to find a long spine to begin with. Hinge at the hips. Reach through the heart. And go until you feel that very first layer of sensation. And try to relax the legs here. Perhaps the hands rest on that top leg. Perhaps the hands come forward in front of you. Perhaps you make your ramp with your bolster and block and rest on that. You can do a reverse ramp. If that feels better to you, where now the side further away from you is lower and this side is higher. And you can rest here, letting your chest rest up against the bolster. If your body invites you to go deeper, you might try to find a little bit more length and start hinging here. And maybe start to round the spine and let the head and neck relax. Perhaps a block would come in handy here, and you can let your forehead rest on one block or stack your blocks. The ankles and the feet will remain slightly active. Feet flexed, ankles straight. But the rest of the body can relax here. Try to relax the head and neck, the jaw, and come back to your breath. We'll take 5 more breaths here. There's no rush, but whenever you've felt complete on this, you can slowly roll back up, letting your head rise last. You can move your props out of the way. And as a reminder, getting out of the pose, that transition is very vulnerable for the knees. So we want to keep the feet flexed. Lean back to create some space. Lift the knee up so you're again moving from the femur here. Very slowly and gently release the top leg. And if you've used the bottom leg in this position, keep the foot flexed, ankle straight, and bring the leg back out front. You can take some time here to roll the ankles, give the legs a little bit of movement, whatever feels good to you here. And then whenever you're ready, we'll move to the other side. So we'll start by flexing the left foot, ankle straight. Bend the knee to whatever degree you think is going to be appropriate. Rotate the femur externally. Bring left shin to right shin. Stay there if that feels good. Or bring shin to thigh. If you'd like a little bit more, lean back, flex the right foot, keep the ankle straight. Externally rotate from the right leg. I like to hang on to this top leg so that this thigh can rotate and I can get the bottom one into place and then stack the left shin on top of the right shin. So again, you can use a blanket or bolster or whatever is comfortable underneath this left knee or thigh, whatever feels good. You may also find that the pressure of the top ankle into the bottom knee is uncomfortable. So you could even take a very thin blanket and put it here if that pressure is a problem for you. And with these poses too, feel free to play with bringing the leg a little bit out in either direction. If you do that, just be mindful of the ankle and make sure the ankle stays straight, foot flexed. You can play with hands behind you, leaning back a little bit, being more upright, or starting to hinge, reaching forward with the heart. Use any props that would feel good to you today. Go to your first layer of sensation and then let your body adjust to that. Let your body become comfortable. Maintain the breath that you started with. If it feels good, you can slowly start to round down. Maybe using a block. And let your whole body relax. Keep the feet flexed and the ankles straight, but everything else can let go. The more you let go, the more you will get out of this pose. We'll take 5 more breaths here. In those last 5 breaths, try to find as much stillness and quiet as you can. When you feel ready, slowly roll back up. You can use your hands for support as you come up. Let your head rise last. You can move your props out of the way, lean back, and reverse the process. The foot stays flexed, ankle straight. Internally rotate the femur, lift the leg. Bottom foot is flexed, ankle straight, and unravel. Take a little time for some movement here. Then take a moment to find a comfortable seated position. Ending where we started. Eyes can be open or closed, but allow the eyes to find some stillness. What are you working with now, mentally and physically? What are the physical sensations? What are your thoughts like? What is the breath like? What is your emotional state like? Overall, how do you feel? I invite you to stay here for as long as it feels comfortable for you today. Thank you for being here with me today. Namaste.